What's up guys, it's Manga Time. Once again I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 599, which just has an awesome chapter title, Too Early to Win, Too Late to Know. This is just an epic chapter. I am so happy with this chapter, it's so cool. So yeah, it's just a great chapter. I think this chapter is fantastic. Anyway, I need to stop gushing and get on with this review. So we start off with basically Senjumaru she's kind of like taking the mick out of Weizol, who actually didn't stick around very long. But it's actually kind of creepy though, because it appears that her needles that she impaled him with have got him rooted to the spot. And so he's kind of just standing there, and she basically says, you know, to forget to remove my needles after tailoring is a bad habit, so I'm sorry about that. So what happens, kind of off-screen, is she takes the needles out of Weizol, and all the blood comes out of him, and he dies, basically. He is dead. Okay, he lasted, what, like a chapter and a half? Maybe not even that? So that's... I would say it's kind of lame, but with what happens afterwards, I don't really give a shit. So, yeah. What this does do is something quite interesting, though. It gives us a kind of a gauge. If we kind of assume that Weizol was relatively average Sternritter level, then it basically just shows us how much more powerful the Royal Guard are than the average Sternritter. Because Shutara basically one-shot him, so... yeah. Anyway, she then challenges Yhwach, and there is a lot of great art this week. She challenges Yhwach, and there's an awesome a picture where she's just standing there with her men, and Yhwach is just facing her. And, you know, she's like, it finally looks like Blades will be able to reach you once more. And, she's just a badass. But Yhwach's also a badass. So he's like, is that what you truly believe? And he basically summons another shadow, and more Soldat come out of it. And, Senjumaru's not too bothered, but Yhwach's like, you know, if the enemies are just the Royal Guard's army, then my Soldats are more than enough to fight them. Which is surprising, because the Soldats have been getting wasted. Actually, no, they haven't. Not really, now I think about it. Anyway, however, we then get an awesome part. Yhwach's like, but as for you lot, and these four figures emerge from the ground, and it's just like, whoa! Because they're wearing different Sternritter cloaks. They have different cloaks. They have massive cross on their arm. But what's interesting is this is the cross that appeared when Hashwolf summoned the key. Which a lot of people are speculating to be like a symbol of Yhwach himself. It's a different symbol to the Vandenreich symbol. It's a symbol of Yhwach himself. And they look awesomely cool when they're emerging from the ground, from the shadow. And they have like 3 huge buttons, and they just look totally different. And apparently they're the elite force. So these 4 Sternritter are the elite Sternritter, which is awesome. And it's Sternritter M, the Miracle Gerard Valkyrie. Sternritter X, the X-axis Lille Barro. Sternritter C, finally, the compulsory Pernida... Jeez, this like surname, man. Pernida... I'm just going to say Pernida Parnkgjas. I would personally just think the K and the G are probably silent. And then, yes! Sternritter D, the death-dealing Askin Nakk. Hyped or what? Every time I see Askin, I'm more hyped for his character. And frankly, the death-dealing is just an epic, like super epic epithet. And he just looks so great as always. He's like taking off his hood and he's like, whoa, what the? Yeah, he's awesome. So there's a couple of things we can get from this. This is clearly what Askin was talking about the last time we saw him, when he was like, am I going to get chosen or what? Clearly he was talking about, is he going to get chosen for the elite force to go to the Royal Realm? So does this mean Askin's one of the 4 most powerful Sternritter? It would probably appear so. For 5, I suppose, if you include Hashwolf. So yeah, awesome to see these guys. C is weird. C is really weird. Like, you still can't see their face. Pernida would make me think it's a girl, and you actually get a glimpse of their hand in a minute as well. And it looks kind of girlish, but it might be some kind of robot alien thing? It's really hard to say. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Gerard Valkyrie, I don't really like the look of him. He looks like Thor. Like a Thor ripoff, which doesn't interest me. He kind of looks like Master Masculine in like the way he's really outlandish. And Lille Barro looks pretty cool. He's got like a really cool tattoo over his eye, and he's the X-axis. I just didn't expect that at all. I thought we were going to get the X-ray. Pretty much that's kind of what I thought we were going to get. However, this also brings up something else very interesting. With the arrival of, well, initially we thought after the reveal of Weizol there were only 2 more Sternritter left to see. However, we've seen Gerard, Lille Barro, and Pernida. So what's going on here? That means we've now seen every Sternritter. But hang on, there's 2 Sternritter left that don't have letters. Colonel Sanders and Shaz Domino. Colonel Sanders, I'm just going to assume he's N, which is interesting in itself because that probably implies it has nothing to do with his shooting and nothing to do with his speed. So what the hell, Shaz Domino? Like, has Kubo just forgotten about him, or is he like an imagination creation from... I like that imagination creation from Gremmy. It's really hard to say, and I do kind of hope Kubo revisits it, or else I'm just going to think he forgot about Shaz. Quite honestly, I don't care, because I think Shaz had a boring and bland design. Another possibility is that they're doubling up on letters, so there's 2 letters for each, 2 Sternritter for each letter, possibly, but I think that's unlikely. Anyway, Askin takes off his hood, and he's like, now that you mention it, I'm the only one who was promoted from below. In that case, I bring my A game. Again, this is interesting. Askin, we know he was one of the Sternritter in the battlefield below, and it's interesting that Yhwach did just decide to promote him to the elite force. And it's interesting the way Askin phrases, I better bring my A game. What does that mean? Does that mean he's saying, I better bring a fight worthy of Sternritter A? I better bring... Because the way it's said, he doesn't just say A game, he says A game. Maybe that's just to do with the translation, I don't know. But Askin, we know, he's a bit of a slippery fellow anyway, so he could be easily implying something else, I think. However, when he does say that, he basically gets shouted down by Valkyrie, who's like, yeah, you're damn right. He takes off his cloak. He looks like Thor. He's got a cape, he's got long blonde hair, he's got Thor's helmet, he's got a shield, he's got a sword. If he had a hammer instead, he would just be Thor. So I'm not that interested in him. But he smashes his shield on the ground. He's like, if you appear to be as much as dead weight, I will cut you loose. So it's interesting to see someone talking down to Askin. But quite frankly, I don't necessarily think this means that these 3 are necessarily stronger than Askin. So yeah. It's interesting, however, that there is this elite force that is, like, apparently on another level to the Sternritter. Anyway, Valkyrie basically challenges Shutara. I think he flies at her, I can't really tell. Shutara then summons something. I think it's a Zanpakuto toe, although, honestly, wait a second. No, I can see it better now. It looks like it's a huge needle, which I would presume is her Zanpakuto toe. It doesn't really matter, though, because Valkyrie slices it in half. And, he's like, you can't hold my blade. And then he slices her again, and it goes through the floor. Now, bearing in mind that Yhwach's still only on the landing platform, he's actually got a little way to go yet. However, Senjumaru gets a little bit phased, and she's like, minions, stop them in their tracks because they're advancing too much. And this huge, pretty awesome Royal Guard member comes crashing. Not Royal Guard member, Royal Guard soldier comes crashing down and lands behind Senjumaru. Looks awesome, great picture. And basically Valkyrie's like, wow, she's pretty huge. And then Pernida looks to do something, which is weird. And then I think this is actually kind of confusing, this bit, because, and what is interesting I've just noticed is that Senjumaru's little thing that she wears around her is now open, but interestingly she still doesn't have any arms. Anyway, Pernida seems to do something, and Senjumaru I think looks at Pernida and says, "What's that? You have something? You look like you have something you want to say." To which Lille Barro replies, "It's massive. So what? That's what I wanted to say." Anyway, Pernida then brings out her creepy-ass looking hand, and then, like, breathes out, I think? I have no idea what happens, to be honest. And then, like, the huge Royal Guard's bones just kind of snap, and it dies. Now, don't ask me why Pernida didn't bother doing that to Senjumaru, but whatever. So yeah, it dies somehow. Now, what does that mean? Like, could Pernida's letter C refer, like, because it's compulsory, could that mean it's, Pernida's going to have some uber broken ability, like, it's compulsory that you die before me or something like that? Maybe that's what its ability is going to be. I honestly have no idea. Anyway, Lille Barro then says, just now, did you entertain the possibility that the palace might fall? Because literally, Shutara is being walked over. Don't even ask me where the hell Korinji is at this point, because he's just standing there watching Shutara get bossed. Anyway, Lille Barro takes off his cloak and reveals an enormous rifle. Okay, that's G, which he must have come in like that, because it was on his shoulder before. So the x-axis, I don't really know like what that refers to, because the x-axis is obviously the one that goes across. So I believe maybe that's to do with like him holding his rifle, so it creates an x-axis on his y-axis. That's actually pretty creative, and I frankly would never have thought of that. Anyway, he basically says, if comprehension comes slowly, reaction will also be slow, and that's how it always is on the losing side of things. And then he basically says, the royal palace had already fallen the moment His Highness set his foot here, and he opens his rifle and he shoots Senjumaru in the fucking head. Like, what? Her head literally gets a hole blasted through it, and that's the end of the chapter. Jesus Christ. Like, that's majorly insane. So what can we take from this week's chapter? Well, I don't think Senjumaru's dead. I mean, the first time I read this, I didn't get a proper look at the picture. Now that I do get a proper look at it, she is actually missing a hole in her head. She has lost all of this. So I don't know how she's going to survive that. Unless she has some trippy power. Maybe she's activated her Zanpakuto toe and it's illusory, but honestly I have no idea. If she does die, that's a bit of a disappointment, because Senjumaru is my favourite Royal Guard. She is the coolest looking, she had a lot of potential. So if she literally goes down like that, definitely colour me disappointed. But right now, I'm all hyped. So yeah, a couple of other things to take from this chapter. Askin, he's been built up for a long time now, and it just so happens that his epithet is the Death Dealing. Mark my words, someone is going to die by Askin's hand. Someone is going to die by Askin's hand. It's just, you don't build up a character like that, then give them a epithet like that, and don't let them kill someone. What do I think about the future? Because this chapter is really interesting. Frankly, Yhwach's going to waltz into the Spirit King's palace. It's just going to happen, I think. The elite force of Sternritter are going to be absolute beasts. All of them are going to be beasts. Whether they'll end up like pairing off to fight the Royal Guard or not, I don't really know. I think that's likely, that could happen, but I don't want to see the Royal Guard kill them. Kind of conversely, though, I don't want to see the Sternritter kill the Royal Guard either, so we have a bit of a problem on our hands. At first, I kind of thought maybe the Yhwach would kind of like brainwash the Royal Guard and then like have them fight for him later. Irregardless, I still think the Yhwach's going to take control of the palace. I think he's going to rule. Ichigo and the gang are going to get wrecked when they arrive. They are going to get absolutely destroyed. Seriously, they are going to get smashed. The elite force are just mentally powerful by the looks of things. Like Valkyrie just shattered her Zanpakuto toe. Pernida just absolutely didn't even do anything and killed off that guy. And then Lille Barro apparently headshotted Senjumaru. So we've got some badasses coming our way. Like, literally, I just don't know what's going to happen now. Are they just going to walk through the Royal Realm? And frankly, I'm surprised they've even stayed with the Royal Realm this long. So, it's cool to find out where Askin's gone. However, he's as epic as ever. He's really close to taking my favourite Sternritter spot. I just need to see him do something awesome now. He has been awesome. I need to see him actually do something awesome. But yeah, great chapter. If you hadn't guessed already, I'm dropping a 10 on this one, guys. It's getting a 10 out of 10 from me. It kind of looks like we've seen all the Sternritter now, but with the whole Shaz Domino issue, maybe we'll get more Sternritter. I think we'll go back down eventually because Basby's still alive, Lil Toto's still alive. I'm still almost certain Colonel Sanders, Nana, Candace are still alive. If they're not, maybe Sanders is Necromancer for N, and maybe he'll resurrect the three of them. That would be awesome. I'd be down with that. Menanas is probably still alive. I hope Giselle's still alive. I think she probably is. So yeah, we've still got a lot of fights to go. I think. I just don't really know how things are going to happen. It's freaking me out. So yeah, guys, this was an awesome chapter. I'm super psyched. The Vandenreich are stomping. They're now taking the Royal Realm by force. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of this chapter. What do you think of the three new Sternritter, the elite force of the Vandenreich? Do you think they look cool? What do you think's up with Pernida? Like, we can't even see her yet. She looks like some kind of alien robot, but freaky nonetheless. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this chapter. Is Senjumaru dead? That's probably the main question of the week. And as always, subscribe if you like this video, guys. But I shall catch you next time for Bleach 600. Well, hey, congratulations, Kubo. A lot of people are hoping we'll get Grimjo at 600 because of the 6 connection, but I don't think it's going to happen. The story is not going in that direction. It would have to be super random to get Grimjo at the end. Like, the only way I could see it happening is maybe if we cut back to the battlefield downstairs, halfway through the chapter and it ends with the Grimjoe arrival, but I don't see it happening necessarily. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. See you next week.